has turned on the seatbelt light. Please take your seat and fasten your seatbelts. Thank you.
Meet Kim and Courtney and Chloe and Clubber. They each use MadCap Mimic to create movies for their end users, but they each do it a bit differently because they each have different needs. Kim needs to capture a few simple actions on her computer screen and narrate what she's doing. The end result will be a short movie that she'll put up on the internet for everyone to see, including her mother. So the first thing she does is connect the microphone to her computer. She arranges her computer screen so that it's ready for whatever she wants to show her users. In this case, it's how to purchase a Frisbee online. Then, in Mimic, she opens the recording options dialog. She sets the recording mode to automatic and selects her audio input source. She tells Mimic to record her cursor movements, but not to add any call-out bubbles. Now she's ready to record. From the movie ribbon, she clicks the big red button. Mimic is minimized, and she places the recording rectangle around whatever she needs to capture. In this case, her browser window. Then she clicks another big red button. After Mimic counts down, she begins moving her mouse and clicking on the screen. As she does this, she talks into the microphone, describing to her adoring audience how to purchase a Frisbee. When she's done, she clicks the Finish button. She gives the movie a name and saves it. Finally, she opens the Properties dialog and uses the Movie Output tab to select HTML5, which is the best output format for sharing on the internet. She also uses the HTML5 Options dialog to make sure the output can be seen on as many kinds of browsers as possible. Then there's Courtney. She also wants to record her actions on screen. In this case, how to play World of S'morecraft online. However, Courtney's movie is going to be longer than Kim's, so she decides to add her narration afterwards. So Courtney follows the same steps as Kim, except for the microphone part. After she records and saves the new movie, she uses some third-party audio software to record and edit her narration. Then in Mimic, she opens the Movie Properties dialog and uses the Audio tab to import her MP3 or WAV audio file. However, because she didn't record her narration at the same time that she captured her steps, Courtney uses the Preview feature to see how the video matches up to the audio. Sometimes she needs to open the Properties dialog for a frame and adjust the transition time until it's just right. Although there are multiple kinds of outputs she can choose from, Courtney also selects HTML5 because it's what all the cool kids are doing. And it's the best format for putting video on the internet so that everyone can see it, including her mother. Up next is Chloe. Now, Chloe wants to do something a bit different. She doesn't want to add any audio to her movie. Instead, she wants to make the movie interactive, so that her end users need to click on certain parts of it or input text in order to move from frame to frame. In this case, she wants to show her audience how to find a smelly biker dude on a dating website. When Chloe sets up her recording options, she tells Mimic that she wants to include callouts. She plans to use those to give her end users instructions. After she records her actions and saves the movie, Chloe adds and edits objects in nearly every frame of the movie. For example, she types text in the callouts and moves them around. She also adds button objects and applies actions to them. This tells Mimic what to do when a user clicks on that button. Sometimes she wants users to type certain text in the movie, so she adds input typing boxes. And to make sure all of her objects appear just when she wants them to, she opens the timeline window pane so that she can adjust their timing. She also uses the preview feature to make sure everything works just the way it should. Chloe then generates HTML5 output and puts the movie up on the internet where everyone can see it, including her mother. And last but not least, we have Clubber, who wants to show her audience how to map the human genome using Microsoft Paint. She needs to create about 10 different movies that are related, so Clubber creates a movie collection. After she records each movie, it's added to the collection editor. Clubber does all kinds of things with her movies. She adds background music to each movie, and sometimes she adds unique audio to a particular frame. She also incorporates interactivity like Chloe did. Another thing Clubber does is save her objects to a palette so that she can easily reuse them in the future. Clubber is all about working smart and efficiently. Clubber can do anything. She was once voted homecoming queen and jumped the Grand Canyon in a custom Dodge Dart. One really super fancy thing Clubber does is use single sourcing in her movies. Because Mimic has these things called condition tags and targets, Clever can get really crazy. She can mark movie frames and objects with condition tags. This lets her create multiple movie outputs from the same source. This means that she can create some movies that are very similar to one another, but slightly different in a few places. It's just better and faster to do it that way. It's so cool that it makes Kim, Courtney, and Chloe really jealous that they didn't think of it first. Then, Clever uses the Options tab in the Collection Editor to choose the HTML5 format. She generates her movie output, and she puts it up on the internet for everyone to see, including her mother. And that's Mimic. Oh, by the way, the tutorial videos on the MadCap Software website and in the online documentation were created using Mimic. Isn't that right, Clever? Say goodnight, Clever.